Good day, and welcome to episode 2 of the Abstract Barcode podcast. I'm your host, Christopher, where each and every weekday I bring you the news that you may not be aware of, while commenting and criticizing on it to the best and worst of my ability. So let's jump right into it. This first news story comes from NBCnews.com, and it's a doozy. Hoverboard blaze kills 2-year-old, making first such fatality in U.S. by Tim Stillo and Katie Wall. Now, first off, we've known hoverboards blow up, but I'm surprised this is the first time someone's died. The article states a 2-year-old girl who died in a Pennsylvania house fire is the first fatality linked to a hoverboard-related blaze in the United States. Also, they're not hoverboards, okay? They don't hover. They're like Segways without handles. They are not hoverboards. They don't hover. I mean, plain and simple. They have wheels. Whoever came up with that name should be shot. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it doesn't hover. It has wheels. It's not a hoverboard. The article goes on to say a Consumer Product Safety Commission spokesman told NBC News that the agency has investigated more than 60 hoverboard fires since 2015. Well, yeah, there you go. They said the agency plans to investigate the Friday night fire, which local authorities attributed to a charging hoverboard. Hey, at least it wasn't a Samsung phone. Da-da-da. The fire started shortly before 8 p.m. on Friday night in a home north of downtown Harrisburg. The fire chief told NBC News that when firefighters arrived, the wind-fueled fire had completely engulfed the first floor. Let's see. 2 other children injured in the fire remained in critical condition and hospitalized at a local burn center. Dennis DeVoe, a firefighter, was also killed in a car crash while driving to... Really? Dennis DeVoe, a firefighter, was also killed in a car crash while driving to the blaze. Authorities later charged the other driver, who was 18 years old, with driving under the influence, aggravated assault by motor vehicle, and other claims. Quote, "Our hearts are broken and we grieve for the loss of our brother," end quote. In a statement, Interline, don't know what it is, described DeVoe as a department leader. The article states more than 500,000 hoverboards were recalled in July after the Safety Commission announced that battery packs in 8 Chinese-made models could overheat, catch fire, and explode. Well, yeah. I don't see why they sell these things still. Make them safe and then sell them. If they're not safe, don't sell them. Simple as that. Why can't everything be so simple? The article ends by saying, he added that recalled hoverboards should never be used, nor should the self-balancing scooters. Yes, it is a scooter with no handlebars. Thank you. Nor should the self-balancing scooters be charged overnight or without fire extinguishers nearby. Honestly, you shouldn't charge anything unless you're there. It's kind of like what they say, don't leave a microwave unattended. Oh, nothing will go wrong. Well, you never know, honestly. You never know. Okay. Okay, this one's a little dirty. It comes from yahoo.com. Yahoo. Do they still do that? Okay, it's titled, Sex toy maker pays $3.75 million to settle, quote, smart, quote, vibrator lawsuit. It's got a weird picture, that's for sure. The article states, think twice about connecting those sex toys to the internet. Why would you do that? A vibrator company has agreed to pay up to $10,000 to U.S. customers who used a smartphone app that relayed their data to the firm's server. In a settlement filed Tuesday in Chicago court, a Canadian company called WeVibe agreed to pay 5 million Canadian dollars, so 3.75 mil USD, to resolve privacy claims. That's all it is? Privacy claims? Why would you be connecting these things to the internet? The article states the apps collected information, such as what temperature and intensity settings the owners used. Wow. And how often they were used. Wow. Oh, and a curious twist to the settlement, the process creates two potentials. The process creates two potentials ways. Check your spelling, people. Two potential ways for customers to collect. Those who attest they use the app to control it, and who provide their name and phone number and other details as part of the claim process. Will get up to $10,000. Meanwhile, those who simply purchased it will receive up to $199 USD. A spokesperson for the parent company, Standard Innovation, provided the following statement to Fortune. Quote, we are pleased to have reached a fair and reasonable settlement in this matter. At Standard Innovation, we take customer privacy and data seriously. We have enhanced our privacy notice, increased app security. Just don't be connecting those things to the internet, really. You don't need to. Unless there's something I'm missing from this article. You don't need to. Wow. Okay. I'm done with that. Next story comes from Reuters. Reuters.com. Two former Penn State officials cut deal in Sandusky cover-up. Media says. Oh, media say. Oh, so there's no proof here, right? A pair of former Penn... Oh, this is by Layla Kearney. I butchered that name. A pair of former Penn State officials pleaded guilty on Monday to child endangerment charges to settle accusations that they helped cover up years of predatory sexual abuse by Jerry Sandusky, a former assistant football coach at the university. Tim Curley and Gary Schultz, who served as athletic director and a senior vice president, respectively, during Sandusky's tenure, entered their pleas. Each face up to 5 years and $10,000 as a fine. As part of the deal, prosecutors dismissed felony conspiracy charges against them. Article goes on to say all three defendants had ignored reports that Sandusky, who coached at the university for 3 decades, had sexually accused boys. The prosecutors charged. Let's see. Prosecutors said the 3 Penn State officials failed to notify authorities of a report by a witness who said he had been seen by Sandusky sexually assaulting a boy in a shower in the school's football complex in the early 2000s. A spokesman for the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office is... Oh, I just lost my place. Which is prosecuting the case, declined for comment. 2 former Penn State officials got deal in Sandusky cover-up. So it says media says. So it's like, is there any proof here? There's really no telling. News isn't news anymore, it seems. And if there is news, it seems like there's dumbasses in it. Next one comes from Yahoo again. Yahoo.com. And it says, woman resigned to being plump, fat. Learned she had 140-pound tumor. That sucks. I mean, it's good you know, but that sucks. It's like this is from the AP, who Yahoo got it from. Mary Clancy is the woman and said she was resigned to being a plump old lady. Over 15 years, she kept getting bigger despite dieting. But with her health deteriorating, her son persuaded her to go to the hospital. A cyst in one of her ovaries had grown into a 140-pound tumor. Whoa. Article goes on to say, quote, "You can't imagine in your wildest dreams something that huge," end quote, she told Philadelphia TV station NBC10. The tumor really didn't cause her pain and just made itself comfortable in there. But by the time she went to the hospital, it had become difficult for her to walk and even stand. Quote, "It was slowly killing her," end quote. To help in the removal of the tumor, a second table had to be moved next to the one in which she was lying so the mass could be rolled out without it rupturing. Ew. Made up predominantly of water, the tumor was, quote, "slippery and nasty," end quote. Yeah, that sounds nasty. It's putting a bad image in my head. Man, that sucks, but, cool she got it out. The article ends saying she weighs less than 150 pounds and says she feels great. Well, good. Maybe she can go back to exercising and dieting. That's just amazing. Wow. There was no picture or anything, but wow. Wow. Just, yeah. 140-pound tumor. At the tumor. 140-pound tumor. You're fired. Get to the chopper. Next story comes from ACLUNC.org. So the ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union, if no one knew, of Northern California. This article states its heading as, Facebook and Instagram publicly prohibit surveillance of users following coalition demands. That is a mouthful. For immediate release. Let's see. Facebook publicly announced updates to Facebook and Instagram platform policies that clearly prohibit the use of company data for surveillance. Okay. If the government wants to use surveillance on Facebook, they're gonna do it. If you think that's gonna stop anything. Quote, "We applaud the first step from Facebook and encourage all technology." Oh, now it's a race thing. Quote, "Social media platforms are a powerful tool for black people to draw attention to the injustices our community faces," end quote. Just, Why does race and sex have to be in everything? Why? Okay, I'm done with that story. That wasn't very entertaining. I hate autoplay. Why is autoplay on? It should be off. There we go. Okay, next story comes from CBS News. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know the intro. Teen says she was forced to have sex with 1,000 men over 2 years. Lawyer in Pennsylvania say their client was sexually exploited at a motel for years, alleging the teen girl was a victim of human trafficking who was forced to have sex with more than 1,000 men. Quote, this child was forced into sex slavery, paid to do things with men, double, triple, quadruple her age, end quote. Attorney Nadeem Bazar told reporters. Lawyers allege employees at the Roosevelt Inn in Northeast Philadelphia knew that the 14-year-old girl was being held against her will for 2 years. She was forced to have sex for as little as 50. Really, you're going to throw the amount of money in there? It doesn't matter how much they paid. She was forced to do it. Quote, she is devastated by what happened to her. She's just trying to piece her life back together. Quote, end quote, said Bazar. The girl, now 17, went to the hotel to pay for what happened to her. Under the 2014 human trafficking law, she's suing the motel's owners, the motel's management company, and manager herself. The manager herself. The lawsuit demands $50,000 in damages. According to that, is a low amount of money, and surprised she's not going for more. $50,000 in damages. Wow. That seems like a really low number. Yeah, when CBS Philadelphia tried to talk to the hotel manager about the lawsuit, he denied the allegations. Quote, I was always in the office. I didn't see anything wrong, end quote, said the manager. That's just wrong. I don't care who you are. And she should get more than $50,000. Yeah. If people responsible are not held criminally liable, hitting them in the pocketbook will go a long way in policing human trafficking. The victim is currently in therapy and trying to get her life back on track, her attorneys said. That really sucks. Oh, there's some comments. Let's see what some of the comments say. If they load. There's a racist comment. Yagna Patel is the owner. Most sleazy motels are Indian owned. How the F, like literally spelled out F, are you going to tell people that you had no idea about a minor that was being exploited for years? You had to have known. Yeah, that's a racist comment. Here's another comment. Wow, the comments on here are just sickening. They should level the hotel to the ground. We need a minimum 20-year sentence for all rapists, and they should have a hand cut off before release so they cannot do it again. Yeah, that's, well, no. Another comment. So, is this going to be a long movie or a mini-series? The 1,000 men, will they be selected by make and model or random applications? Hell of a career. It will give Hollywood something to do. They got a point. Any tragedy does get turned into a Hollywood something or other for television or film. Here's a good comment. Poor kid. I hope she gets some good therapy. and a better lawyer. Yes. Yep, okay. Next story comes from ABC News 7. You can count on us. KSWO.com. Oklahoma. Ambulance chaser, attorney facing suspension, resigns from ministry. Rob Schneider stars. Wow. Okay. A McAllister attorney facing a 2-year suspension for an ethics violation has resigned and plans to become a minister. The lawyer for 42-year-old Amy Elizabeth Harrison told the Oklahoman that Harrison decided in February to resign rather than fight the allegations before the state Supreme Court. Harrison was accused of having employees pose as charity workers to contact traffic accident victims and solicit their business, and of obtaining State Department of Public Safety emails about traffic crashes to identify potential victims. Oh, I'm just going to retire and become a minister because my career's tarnished. She said at a disciplinary hearing in November that she didn't know she was violating ethics rules. Yep. Next story comes from FoxNews.com. American Guns reality star convicted of selling firearms illegally, evading taxes. Oh, this is going to be good. The article states the star of the reality TV show American Guns faces up to 15 years in prison after his conviction last week on firearms and tax evasion charges. Richard Wyatt, 53, ran a Denver area gun shop called Gunsmoke that was the setting for a Discovery Channel show from 2011 to 2012. He was found guilty Friday of selling guns without a license and failing to disclose $1 million in income to the IRS after a trial in Denver. He lost his federal firearms license in 2009. His lack of a gun license failed to stop him from negotiating a contract with Discovery Channel to star in American Guns. Wow. This guy's just got skeletons all up in his closet. Wow. The article ends stating agents with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, the ATF, raided Gunsmoke in 2015, seizing 583 guns and ammunition, the paper reported. Whoa, that's a lot of money. And guns. Wow. Yeah, this guy shouldn't be doing it. It's illegal. Next story comes from KY3, the place to be. Yeah. KY3.com. Gordman's, your favorite neighborhood shopping area. Gordman's files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Stores to remain open for now. Yeah, that's not a good sign. The article states, Gordman's announced Monday it has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company operates 102 stores in 22 different states. let's see. Today, from a statement released from the company, they announced that it has filed for a voluntary petition for relief under Chapter 11. Concurrently, Gordman's announced that it has entered into an agreement with Tiger for sale and liquidation of the inventory and other assets of Gordman's retail stores and distribution centers, subject to the receipt and bankruptcy court approval of a more favorable transaction. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, quote, until further notice, all Gordman stores are operating as usual without interruption. End quote, said Andy Hall, President and Chief Executive Officer of Gordman's. The management team and all of our associates remain committed to continuing to provide great merchandise and service to our guests during this process. Well, it might not be great merchandise because no one's buying stuff. Maybe that's why you're filing for bankruptcy. You ever think of that? Huh? Well, did you? Punk? Huh? Anyways, that kind of sucks, but hey, if no one's buying stuff, and my dog is staring at me, what's up? What's up? Okay, yeah, so Gordman's. Great merchandise, I doubt it, because, no one's buying stuff. And when you file for Chapter 11 and you're like, oh, our stores are going to remain open, yeah, that doesn't last long. Look what happened to Hastings. Yeah. They got sold off to a company, I think, and got everything liquidated, and they had to sell everything, and now the stores are all closed, which sucks. But because no one bought anything. You walk into Hastings, everything was on the shelves. Prices were way too high on some stuff. I'm sorry. No one wants to buy everything in the world. People don't have that kind of money. And a lot of stuff's going to online. Yeah. So, this might be the last story. Man killed because carjacker is mad over manual transmission. This comes from abc13.com. And says a father is murdered in front of his family by carjackers in North Harris County. A father was shot and killed in front of his wife and 10-year-old daughter after being carjacked because the killer did not know how to use a manual transmission. Did not know how to use a stick. I'd say the guy trying to, steal the car is a dumbass, but he's really a dumbass because he got aggravated that the car was a manual. I mean, really. It's like, you go shopping, you know what you want, you pick what you want, but you can't get mad at someone if you're trying to steal something of theirs and it's not what you thought it was going to be. It says the two men fled the scene. Police have not released a description of the suspects. The man, who was 47 years old, was in his car on the street in front of an apartment complex when two men in their late teens to early 20s approached him to carjack him. Well, that's just sad. That's just sad. So sad. Okay, next story, maybe. What we at? Yeah, we'll do one more story. That was a bummer. So, let's talk about vaccination then, right? Okay, this last story comes from BBC News, or BBC.com. And it's titled, Australia Considers Childcare Ban on Unvaccinated Children. That's pretty smart. That's really smart. The article states unvaccinated children would be banned from the child care centers. Why do you put CENTRES and not CENTERS? Not res. Centers. And preschools under an Australian government plan. Some Australian states already have, quote, no jab, no play, end quote, laws, but PM Malcolm Turnbull is calling for nationwide legislation. Healthcare groups have supported the push to protecting children. An Australian child health poll survey of nearly 2,000 parents showed 5% of children were not fully vaccinated. Quote, this is not a theoretical exercise. This is life and death, end quote, Turnbull said. Quote, if a parent says, I'm not going to vaccinate my child, they are not simply putting their child at risk. They are putting everyone's child at risk too, end quote. Yes! That is simple. So simple. Why can't it be like that in the rest of the world? Especially here in the U.S. Article goes on to state, vaccinating children is not a legal requirement in Australia, but failing to do so makes parents ineligible for child care rebates. Well, make it illegal. The article goes on to say, quote, if you as a parent expect the community to support you by either welfare payments or access to care, then you need to do your bit to contribute to that community by protecting other children, end quote. Yes. It's so simple. It really is a no-brainer, I think. But that's my opinion. The article goes on, the so-called anti-vax movement believes vaccinations may cause medical conditions such as autism, but overwhelming scientific research suggests this is not the case. Vaccines can cause adverse reactions in a small number of people, like many medications, but the accepted science is that the benefits far outweigh the risks. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. I think you should vaccinate your children. That way, no, your children don't get sick. Other children don't get sick. No one gets sick. Plain and simple, right? So, and that's it for this episode. That's it. Yeah, we're done. Around 30 minutes, yeah. So we are done. So, good night and good luck.